Some people dream success. Don't let your dreams be dreams. You should get to the point where anyone else will quit, and you're not gonna stop there. So just do it. Make your dreams come true. Do it. Nothing is impossible. Do it. Make your dreams come true. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday you said tomorrow. Yesterday you said tomorrow. Yesterday you said no. You can wake up and work hard at. You can wake up and stop giving up. You can wake up and work hard at. You can wake up and make your dreams come true. Don't let your dreams be dreams. What are you waiting for? Yesterday you said tomorrow. Yesterday you said tomorrow. Yesterday you said.
All right, welcome back, team. Another little solo cast to round out the year. So I've got a few topics I want to talk on today. First one being life by design, ending the year with the big topics. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get into it. So life by design, what does it mean? How do you achieve it? Where do you even start with it? So the thing about, this sort of theory of life by design, which I do sort of live by, is living with intention to create the life that you want to create. One thing I've learnt about as I get older is how many people's lives have kind of been determined by external sources, like whether it's people or life events or encouragement from parents, when you're young, or whatever it might be. You got to go to university and get a degree in such and such because that's what I want you to do. And then you grow up to be fucking miserable because you followed their path and now you just got some shit job you didn't actually want to do. So I guess life by design is like knowing that you can create the life that you want to live and you want to have, no matter what your goals are. Because I see so many people that are living a life that I think in their heads they think is what they wanted. And the reality is they're not happy with that life, and they're every day like questioning it, like, is this really what I want? Because it doesn't really feel like it. So life by design, I guess, is an idea that all your intentions and everything you do is to create the actual life you want to be living, and like everybody's gauge of that is different. Some people want to be, really rich or whatever and have a lot of materialistic things, which is obviously a facade because that's not going to make them happy. They think it is, but that's only because they don't have it. Once you have something that you've always wanted, you just want the next thing. You're like, oh, okay. It's a hardwired thing that humans have in us to just we gravitate towards things, material things. And I guess with the life by design thing, you really have to pinpoint what it is that you want, or what you want to be doing, or the things that actually make you happy, and do everything you can to create that reality, because it is doable. And no matter what path you went down, in a previous life or at an early age or whatever, you can correct that, and you can actually design your life to live it the way you want to live. Podcast I just did with TJ, perfect example. He went down a path that he thought was his thing, and I'll go be a builder. That'll be good. And then he got qualified as a builder and went, I don't like this. This isn't what I want to be doing. This was just sort of an idea. And he switched it up. He found photography and work, camera work, camera stuff, and he designed the life that he wanted. He made the changes and he executed on them and he made it happen. That's the thing about the whole life by design concept is it's more than just the designing part. It's the work. It's the making it happen. It's the execution that actually gets the results, as most people will know. It's, the whole like, what was the thing off, was it Oprah or whatever? That manifestation thing, The Secret or whatever it was. It's true to a point, and I do believe in that stuff to a point, but I also know that it takes hard work. It takes work to achieve anything. You can think about it in your head and manifest it as much as you want. I think the reality with it is you do think about it so much that you take the actions to sort of steer your life in the way to achieve that thing. It's not like some magic bloody entity that grants you, the genie that grants your wish because you thought about it. I think it's more that your intention shifts to, okay, this is all I can think about, so I'm going to manifest it in the sense of I'm going to make decisions in my life that lead me towards achieving it. And that's, again, life by design. It's like you want something so bad, you move in the direction of it every single day of your life, and eventually you will achieve it. And that is how you can design your ideal life that you want to live. But I think what I'm getting at is, if you have gone down a path where you thought you were going to be happy and you were going to enjoy it, and you get to that point where you're like, hang on, this isn't it, you can design your life in a complete opposite direction, but it's going to take you to execute on what you need to do to achieve it. The only person accountable for your life and the life you're living is yourself. I mean, if you're an adult, obviously, if children under 18, it's kind of your parents. But I guess the thing is if you don't design your life in a sense that, you've got a bit of a plan and a bit of a sort of an idea of where you want to go and what you want to be doing to create your happiness and your happy life. And again, that's different for everybody. Like I said, you could want to be a super rich person, think that's going to make you happy, or you could want to be out there in the hills every day going on an adventure, and that's what makes you happy, or it's a million different things. You name the thing that you enjoy doing, and I guess that's part of your life by design, is either doing that thing more or potentially making a living from doing that thing. But if you don't have that design to start with, then where do you even start? You're just droning through life, sort of doing what everyone else says you should do, or external forces are saying you should do, and there's, I guess you're lost. The thing about being a human on planet Earth is you have to have intention. You have to have an inner will to live the way you want to live. And so many people get influenced by, like I said, others or circumstances that they're born into, or a life event that changes the path of how they're living, or there's a million different things. But like I said, if you don't create that design to start with, and I was a shocker for this early on in life. I just lived every day as it came. I was just like, I don't know, see what happens. But you soon, 1 minute you're 20 and you're living like that just by the seat of your pants, which is all fine and good in your 20s. Like I've said before, that's what your 20s are for. But next minute you're, you're almost 40, and it's like, you've got to have a design, because if you don't, you're just going to continue down that path, living every day. There's nothing wrong with that. If you just wake up every day and you're just like, yep, whatever, see what happens. Like, fair enough. If that's what makes you happy, go for it. I'm not mocking anybody else's lifestyle or the way they live, or their sort of lack of life by design sort of stuff. But I just want to point out the fact that, like, you have to make the decisions and you have to do the work. You have to hold yourself accountable if you want change in your life, because it is doable. You can do it. Like I chased the photography thing for years, and it got to a point where I'm like, looking back, like, man, I did it. Like, I designed the life I wanted, and it's like, cool, now on to the next thing. Sitting here telling you that this is part of it, like, the older I've gotten, and I guess having kids and I guess different responsibilities and things, you've kind of got to get to that point where you're like, you've got to have a bit of a design for what life's going to look like for you. Because just living it by other people's sort of external decisions for what you're doing, I just can't see how it could make you happy, because you're never really doing what you want to be doing. So on the life by design thing, I want to reiterate the fact that you can achieve the life you want to live. It just starts with accountability, taking control of your life and your lifestyle that you're living and the decisions that you're making. Make a bit of a design for it, where you want to go, what paths you want to head down, what you want to achieve, what you want to look back on for the life that you will be living in the future once you've made this design, and be like, man, I did it. Like, you've got to design your life to how you want it, and you can achieve it. I'm an example. You can do it. It's just going to take work, dedication, and just staying on that path. But you can achieve it. And, I might be talking to the converted already. I don't know. But this is for that one person that needs it, for that person that is a bit lost in life, whether it's a young person or an older person or someone my age or whatever. All you might need is me, this one person, saying, hey, if you want to achieve something, you can achieve it. You can get out there and you can do it. Like, just make the design for your life and just stay true to it. And then once you get to that point and you look back and you're like, I'm living that life that I actually designed, then you go, sweet, let's continue designing and see where we can get to next. And that's the next topic I want to talk about. It's the end of 2025, right? A new year is always a good time to, I guess, make it. The next topic is sort of the plan, the life plan. And a new year is always a good time to, I guess, write one, start one, or, start over on one, or whatever it might be. Create a new one, a new plan. And it's a very similar thing to the life by design thing, but I've always had a plan in life. Like, even way back in the day, I was always like entrepreneurial in a sense. I always had some sort of thing going on that I was working on for myself. I keep burping, sorry. I've always had a plan. You've got to make a plan. It's very similar to life by design. It's two very similar things. It's sort of like making your life plan. And again, it's something that I never really thought much of back in the day. It was sort of just like live by the seat of your pants and see where you end up. And, I ended up in some good situations and some bad situations. And it was a very freeing way to live. But again, once you get older and you have kids and you things change in your life, and you sort of got to get things happening. You got to get your shit together. Oof, that was my knee. You got to get your shit together in a sense. You've got to make a plan for every aspect of your life. You've got to make a plan for that, the same thing we just talked about, the life by design, what you want to achieve, what you want to be doing, how you want to be spending your time. Because, it's not infinite. You only have a certain amount of time on this big flying ball in space. It doesn't last forever. I've talked about this stuff before, and I know it hits home, but it is true. You only have a certain amount of time on this earth to do the things you want to do and achieve the things you want to achieve and then live the life that you want to live. And if you don't act on that design and that plan, you won't achieve it and it won't happen, and you will live with regret. And I don't want anybody to do that, because I guess, I've talked about it in podcasts before. There's many generations before us who have been in that situation. And now these days we're fortunate enough to live in a society, in a world where it affords us all these opportunities to create this type of life. 2 generations ago, when they were kids, they couldn't even afford to eat, have meat for dinner. Now our kids have endless options. A weird example, but you know what I'm saying, like post-war and stuff. It was a rough life, man, and they didn't have any option. They went and got a job in a factory, and that was their life. They sacrificed a lot to sort of build what society is now. And we have those opportunities now, and that's why it frustrates me when I see people, not frustrates, but it's kind of saddens me when I see people not sort of taking advantage of it and creating the life that they want to live by making that plan that I'm talking about. 2026 is going to be a great time to make your life plan. Figure out where you want to be in 5 years' time, which is the next topic I'm going to speak on. You've got to make a plan for where you want to be. it might not be, make a small plan. Okay, this is where I want to be by the end of next year, whether that's a financial plan, where you want to be financially, because that is a big topic at the moment, especially here in New Zealand. But if you don't make that plan, you won't achieve it. You'll just keep going around in circles. There's a lot of people just going around in circles, man, and a lot of it, can be solved. But you have to take accountability, and you have to change the way you see life and the world. It's all up here. It's all in the mindsets. Again, the most powerful tool we have is this thing up here and how you use it. So if you come into 2026, even, like the whole New Year's resolution thing, which again, talked about before, but make a plan. 2026 is almost here. Make a plan. If you need to either get your shit together to start achieving some stuff and move forward to design the life that you want to live, or if you want to switch up your plan completely, and, some people do that. They go, hang on, I've built this life that sucks. Like, I don't want to be living like this. Then that's fine. Switch it up. Create a plan that's the complete opposite. It really doesn't matter. But you've got to make the plan. I was saying before, I've always been entrepreneurial, and I've always had sort of a rough plan for life. And I always knew that I was going to end up in a spot where I guess I was living by that life design, where I was doing things that I wanted to do, that I wanted to enjoy, that I enjoy, which I do for a living, like I basically get to do the stuff I do. It sustains me financially and I enjoy it. So I'm happy. It's like, it's such a contrasting things, and so much of our lives, especially as like adults, is based around, I guess, like work or like money and making money and how you go about doing it. It's like previous podcasts we've talked about, when you meet somebody and they go, oh, hey, doing good to meet you. Like, oh, what do you do? It's the first thing that comes up. What do you do? They're never talking about, oh, what do you do on the weekend? What are your hobbies? They're talking about, what do you do for a job? Because it's like we've said, we're just little worker ants at the end of the day. Nothing, never is it more evident than in that situation. People are like, oh, what do you do? But that's all they want to know. They want to know, like, what do you do for a job? Okay, because that gives them a bit of a gauge of the type of person you are and whatnot. But it's a perfect example of, like, it defines you. So what do you want to define you? Oh, what do you do? Oh, I work down at the bloody, name a place, I don't know, the factory, like all those older generations. Oh, I work down at the mill, whatever. Oh yeah, that's old Johnny. He works at the mill. Like, is that what you want? Is that what you want people to know you for? Or do you want people to go, oh yeah, that's old Sam. He's a I don't even know a reference. He's a professional photographer and he loves it. It's his dream job. He's living his best life, like, I'm going to use that example because it's what I do, but you've really got to think about what type of person do you want to be? And again, I'm not harping on people that live that life and love it. That's perfectly fine if that's you. But there is a certain percentage of the human population which do not want to live like that. They want to design their life. They want to make a plan. And they want to achieve it so they can look back and go, man, look what I did. So back to the entrepreneurial stuff. Keep going off track. I've always had in the back of my head a bit of a plan, like I said, for my life. Obviously, it's had its ups and downs. It's had its twos and fros, and I've ended up in different places and situations. But if I make a plan and I design part of my life, I execute. What do I can't remember what I always write down. What do I write down? Dream, plan, execute, something like that. And that's what I've always done, even sort of subconsciously, And again, I've had some roadblocks, like 2022, when my mum passed, I was in a hole for 2 years, and I was actually going to start this podcast before she passed. like just before, and then that obviously threw a spanner in the works. And then I went down a 2-year sort of, grief cycle of finding myself again and going through the heavy shit that all was. But I came back to it, 2 years later. I went, yep, no, actually, I'm going to crack on with that because that was always part of the plan. And here I am, I'm sitting here doing it. The same thing with the photography stuff and achieving the stuff I wanted to there. Is it all started with a dream, a plan, and executing, dream, plan, execute. It's simple. I'm pretty sure that's what I always say and write down. I can't even remember. It's too late. It's nighttime now. It's late. But if you never have that dream, you never make that plan or that life design, and you never execute on it, and you just known as old, Johnny that works down at the timber mill, he has done for 50 years, and then you look back on your life and go, what the heck? Like, what did I achieve? Oh, I brought my little box of sticks, my house, and paid that off and followed the bloody rule book, followed the plan of the whole nation. Oh, made, whatever. Again, don't get offended if that's you. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just sort of pointing out my views. And then you look back on it and go, oh, sweet. Well, what did I do though? I went on a couple of holidays and this and that. Like my whole idea of the plan, I guess, for life is being able to do what you love to do. And I guess make a living from it, or at least, make a living from doing something that you actually like and brings you happiness. And then doing all the other stuff on the side, or whatever. Like, you've got to have, again, it's all part of the plan. If you don't make the plan, nothing comes into place. So, yeah. The next thing is what I call the 5-year rule. Is it the 5-year rule? The 5-year sort of theory, I guess. And like I talked about before, from a certain age, when I sort of, I guess, went through a bit of a mindset shift, you could say, I started to sort of live by this 5-year theory, I guess, sort of plan, life plan, 5-year theory thing where, and I still do it to this day. I always do everything with intention to sort of aim towards 5 years in the future. I always had a certain goal, like with my photography journey, of making my living from it by a certain age, and it just so happened to be 5 years after I sort of started making money with it. As we talked about on the podcast with TJ, like becoming a photographer and someone that makes their living from it, it's a long grind. It's you don't see all the shit behind the scenes and what it takes, but it's a lot. And I achieved that goal, and that was sort of like, okay, that was my 5-year theory plan sort of ahead. Boom, done. And then, sweet, now we're on to the next thing. We go 5 years again. Things like, doing this podcast and content and all the different stuff I'm doing now, it's always thinking 5 years ahead, like where I can get it to in 5 years' time. So I can then look back and go, sweet, ticked off another one of the plan or the life by design. And 5 years might seem like a long time, especially if you're young. Like if you're listening to this and you're like in your early 20s, it's like you're probably just like, this dude's just so full of shit. Like 5 years, like, man, I'm telling you. I feel like I turned 21 not long ago. Now I'm a couple of months I'll be 38. I'm coming up to 40. It goes by quick. And if you make a plan, like a 5-year plan for something now, and you are that age and you stick to it, you'll be surprised at what you can achieve in that time. Don't even get me started on the 10-year plans. And again, this doesn't have to be something that you harp on about or talk to anybody about. This can just be something you've written down somewhere. Okay, these are my goals. This is what I'm going to achieve. This is my 5-year plan. Sort of 5-year theory. That's, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I'm always looking 5 years ahead. Everything I'm doing today is planning for in 5 years' time, and another goal that I have is continue to make a living with photography, but also for just being myself, for being me, you know, like it might sound stupid and people go, oh, what, bro, you're going hard with the content and you're making some cheesy stuff and you're doing that. And it's like, yeah, but look at everything I'm doing. It's all stuff that I love, you know. The photography, excuse me, the photography thing was one thing, you know, achieving that because I love it, you know. That was the first love, and it's like, man, okay, that 5-year plan's now ticked off. We're on to the next one, and you know, like again, people like, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. It's like, yeah, but look at it all, you know. Like I love doing this, I love speaking, I love doing podcasts, and I always have. I just never had found myself enough to realize how much I loved it, and now I'm doing it. You know, all the hunting stuff I do, it's another thing I love. I love hunting. It's like it's all a combination of the things that I love doing, and got myself to a point where now it's what I do every day, and I literally feel like I don't work a day in my life, you know, because I love doing everything that I do. I don't know. And you do get a certain percentage of people that listen to people talking like this who have, like, I guess, lived life by design to a point and design the life they want to live, again, depending on what they the way they want to live and what they wanted to achieve. And you're always going to get, you know, like oh, well, you know, easy for you to say this, that, whatever, you know, whatever they want to say to sort of shut it down or downplay it. But there's a reason why, I guess, people that have gone down this route talk like that, and it's because they've actually learnt these things through that dream plan execute sort of structure, and then you get to sit there and go, look at me now, like I did it, I achieved the things. And that's why people like that have done it talk like that, and you know, if they're like me, they try and encourage people, other people like potentially like you who are listening, to follow the same path, because again, you're only here for a finite amount of time, man. Hey, like you could have all that stuff, you could have all the things, you could have all the, you know, the career that you wanted, the life you live, and it could all be taken away like that, whether you like it or not. It's just the reality of being this bloody bag of meat and bones that we are, with this operating center up here that's, you know, can be quite fragile in a sense. Like you've just got to listen to those people that talk like that. Like, yes, I get it if they're full of shit. You know, people might listen to me and be like, this dude's full of shit. But like, the proof's in the pudding. Look at my life and the way I live and the things I do. Yeah, that's my life every day. I love being a parent. I do it every day. I love hunting. I do it all the time. Fishing, all the outdoor stuff, you know, make a living from photography and using my camera. I love doing that. You know, I don't feel like I ever actually work. And don't get me wrong, I've had countless jobs throughout my life. I've done everything. You know, on my resume, my old resume. Well, it's not my old, I guess it's still relevant, but I haven't used it for a few years. It literally says, like, I'm a jack of all trades, and it says I've done everything from, I think it's like working with explosives to picking flowers, you know, like working in like a flower orchard to working with explosives. Like, I've had countless jobs throughout my life, but I've never really focused in on one thing and been like, oh, okay, that's me now, like that's my life. Much like I talked about with TJ in the last podcast, you know, like he thought building was his thing. Sweet, this is going to be it. And then he did it and went, this sucks, I don't want to do this shit. I'm going to find something I actually like. I've never done that. Like, you know, I'll stick at a job for like 2 years and it's always just been a means to an end for me. And that's the thing, is that's another excuse that a lot of people use. Oh, you don't know hard it is, bro, like work full time, this, that, work this many hours a week. And it's like, yeah, but you can use that time and those resources that job brings you to build something outside of it. You know, like a lot of people that have achieved those sorts of things, like this, sitting in here after they put the kids to bed and come, you know, talk to you fellas and do this stuff. Like, it's got to, don't know, you've got to have ambition too, and you've got to want it. It's all these people that speak like this, they haven't achieved these things by just slacking off and kicking back on the couch and watching bloody YouTube. You know, they've achieved it by putting the work in. From, you know, they'll go do their day job or whatever it might be, which is a means to an end. And that day job might help fund their side hustle, and they're up at night, you know, working on that. And like, it's the work that it's the work that counts at the end of the day. It's the work that makes the difference and lets you build that life by design. So I don't know. I'm probably just harping on at this point. But I just want to give you guys some encouragement, man. Like going into 2026, like again, it's a new year. You can, you can make your plan or your design for your life going forward. If you need to make changes, make changes. Dream, plan, execute. Dream the idea. Sit there, think, oh, how do I want to be living? What would I actually like to do with my life? And what would I enjoy doing? And if you can think of that, then you can make a plan and you can write things down and go, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. What do I need to achieve it? This is how I need to be living, or these are the steps I need to put in place to get to that point to achieve it. And then it's just working through that plan. Okay, boom, start ticking things off. That might be a life plan for how you want to live your life. That might be a financial plan where you want to be financially. It might be a mental plan where you want to be in your headspace or your spirituality or your mentality, your mindset. There's so many aspects to it, but you have to, you have to make it happen. Because all these people that sit back, again, they might be full of shit. There's plenty of like young crew that haven't achieved shit and they're just making podcasts and talking this, and it's all, you can pick it up straight away. They're all full of shit. Not all of them, but most of them. But anybody who's done some living and is sitting there being like, look, this is what I've done. I've set things up. This is how I'm living. And they're telling you how to do it. Take all that on. Don't just shut them down. Like some of the hive mind shit here in New Zealand, it's fucking brutal to watch. Just the way people think, and they just like the way that they live their life every day and the way they see things. It's just the most toxic shit ever. It hurts my soul to see it, It's just such a weird way to carry yourself and I guess to live your life. But if you can change your mindset and get away from that, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve, man, and where you can end up, like I say, in 5 years' time. You can end up living the life that you wanted to live. But you've got to, get yourself out of that gutter that you might be stuck in mentally or financially or physically or whatever it is that's holding you down and making you be that way, again, this thing up here, it's the most powerful tool. Switch this thing, into the positivity, gratitude, living with purpose, intention, switch it into all those modes, and man, you're off to the races. You will be very surprised at what you can achieve. I quickly want to show you something before I jump off, which is very much on that sort of wavelength that I was just talking about. Old mate Keep the Change posted it. Where did he post it? All right, I don't know if you can see this, but I'll hold it up to the camera. It might be too bright. There you go. Can you read that? Have a quick look at that, and then I'll tell you what it says. So it's a bit of a graph. It says above the line, and then it says below the line. Okay, so above the line, which is in green, is victor, like a victor, like victory or victor. Below the line is victim. So above the line in the green, you've got, literally says above the line, freedom, power, productivity, success, choices. And then it's got in these graphs here, O, which is ownership, A, accountability, R, responsibility. And it says like language that these types of people use. I, us, we, ours. In other words, those people are like go-getters, they're like people like me who are like ownership, like to take accountability for their life and their actions and what they're doing, and responsibility, like they appreciate all those things, freedom, power, productivity, success, choices. It's basically describing two different types of people. Okay, and then below the line, the victim one, for top one, they've got B, so B for blame, E, excuse, D, denial. Denial, complacency, reactivity, inaction. And then language, you, them, they. In other words, The below the line people are the types of people that blame their life and their circumstance on other people and other things in their life that have created that and forced them down that path. The people above the line, and those below the line people are probably quite negative and, like, oh, woe is me. Easy for you to say, those types of people. The ones above the line are the complete opposite. They have taken accountability for their life no matter what's happened, no matter where they've ended up or what situations they've been in or gone through. They take responsibility for themselves and the people around them and everything, like you can get where I'm going with this. Like, you really want to be those above the line people that appreciate all those things that come with being an above the line person and a sort of a positive thinker with gratitude and living in a certain way, because you'd be amazed how quickly your life can change, man, if you jump in with this stuff and change the way that you see the world and your mindset. And it's contagious. People like me, and then I speak to other people, and then they pick up on it, and then they're off to the races, and they help the next person. It's like a ripple effect, a ripple effect of positivity and gratitude and just all the good things that life offers. And it can literally change your life just by changing the way that you see the world and the way that you think. So going into 2026, think about all these things, put them in action, design the life you want to live, make a plan, use the 5-year theory and execute on it and achieve it and push forward. And you'll look back and you'll be like, man, he was right. I am living the life that I wanted to live, and it is awesome. I get to wake up, do something I love every day, make a good living from it. Life's good. Life's abundant. I've got gratitude. I wake up. What's gratitude? No. What's the short word for that? Gratitude? No, I don't know. Anyway, you wake up with gratitude every day. You're stoked on life. You're spreading positivity. You're helping other people. The more you get, the more you give. And your life's changed. But if you don't start, you ain't going to achieve it. So please heed this advice. And in 2026, go after your dreams and your goals, man, because you can do it. If I can do it, and all these other people that I've bloody had on the podcast can do it, then you can do it. Dream something up, build something, plan it out, execute on it, make it happen. Look back and realize what you've achieved. Be proud of yourself. 2026 is the year. 2026 is your year to make positive change and to live with intention and design the life that you want to be living. Boom. Take that to heart. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Again, if I'm just rambling on and talking nonsense, then, let me know. But if any of this information helps, also let me know. It's not really information. It's just sort of my thoughts and my brain. But it gives you guys an idea of how I sort of go through life and how I think and how I plan, how I execute. I've got big goals next year too. Like, it doesn't stop, never stops. Always planning, always dreaming, and always executing. Thanks for listening, guys. I also realized that the Big Yarn turned 1 on the 9th of November and I completely missed it. So there you go. And, a perfect example. I was in my head, I was like, I'll put this thing off. This was like last year, obviously, I was like, I'll just start it in the new year. No, November 9th, post the first episode into it, none of that shit. Again, this time around, I'm encouraging it because I'm like, 2026, new year, new you, whatever. I don't really do the New Year's thing. I just crack on. I take action. I go, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. Boom, I do it. I get it going. And here we are, episode 16, I think this is. I think it's 16. Don't know. But I hope everyone has a good Christmas and New Year's. And, yeah. Try not to spend your holidays just on the piss and being lazy and slugging around or whatever you're going to do. If you want to make change, use that time to make a plan. Put it together, write it down, and then come next year, get into it. And then hopefully you can look back and go, man, that podcast really helped you. Or it might not. You might just think, who's this bloody nutcase rambling on? But I appreciate everybody. And I genuinely love all the messages I get from these podcasts and, the positive change that we're impacting. That's all I want to achieve, It's like I said in the last podcast, any of this shit I'm doing, all I want to achieve is helping. If I can help one person change their path and change their life and realize what they're capable of and what their potential is, then that's the job done. That's all I want to achieve. So thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you in 2026. Hopefully get some good guests and try and find a spot to record guest episodes that isn't this little cluttered office. That's the goal for next year. I'm up and down with this thing. I get busy and then I take a month or two off and then I come back to it, but I'll just keep doing it again. It's the fuel is the messages, it's the people that are getting stoked on it and changing their lives because of it. Because that's what you need sometimes. I can't even get my foot up there. Oh, big kick up the ass. So get out there, have a crack. Appreciate you. See you in 2026. Ooh, it's coming around. Get this going. Sure. See you, team.
The Big Young Podcast. Let's go! Real stories, real people, that's the way. From bottom to the top, watch us elevate. Every struggle made us stronger, now we celebrate. Diamonds forth from pressure, man, we never break. Open mind, open ears, that's the recipe. Different paths, same hustle.